You're listening to Happy Hour Hustle from the creative geniuses here at 834. We're funny, informative, and we swear. We talk all things marketing, communications, small business, plus we offer up hot takes on our industry and whatever else we feel like talking about. So, grab your drink of choice. It's always 5 o'clock at 834. And crank it up.
I gave a talk at the Michigan Defense Expo. I think it was in March, April. This is not relevant. It doesn't matter. And it was around crisis communication. The defense community, along with every other community or industry that's being affected by the current administration, is going through some massive disruptions, I guess you could say. And we are being pushed into a recession. I mean, hell, we're already in a recession. You know, it's really just how do you define that? Or really probably how does like Buffett define it? And I always think it's funny, Warren Buffett, Jimmy Buffett, and I'm always like, I'm going to say the wrong one. I'm going to accidentally say Jimmy Buffett, and suddenly somebody's going to be singing, I like Pina Coladas, which is that even a Jimmy Buffett song? It doesn't matter. It's not. I don't think it is. It's not like I regularly listen to him. My point is, I asked before I started talking about it, who in this room has a crisis communication plan? One person raised their hand, and it was my buddy Tom, who's a sales guy. So I kind of doubt he was maybe telling the truth, but maybe he does. Maybe he has like maybe his company does, you know, and I'm just being a jerk and saying, I doubt you do, you're in sales. But it's crazy to me to think that businesses are not planning for the worst because it's always coming. And maybe being a small business owner, I think about this more than it's normal. I'm certain I do. Also, my ADHD does not help, so that makes it even worse because it's just constantly playing in my head and my brain never shuts off. But I think about the things that I've lived through or the business has gone through. You know, in 2008, the housing crash. And quite frankly, that's how the house that 834 was named after, which really was more about the neighborhood and community, was lost. Or how about that pandemic? Guys, remember that? Or the political circus that we've been dealing with since, well, really forever, but, you know, I think we all started really paying attention in 2016. And yet, you know, we're still here. I'm still here. 17 years in business and I'm still here. So maybe I'm doing something right, or I'm just really, really lucky. But one of the strengths I do have, and that I hope I can get across to you, is hope is great. Jax agrees, but it's also a feeling. And I don't trust it. So you can hope for the best, but you sure as shit better be planning for the worst. At any time, I have 2 to 4, maybe 3 plans in my head. Okay, if this happens, these are the steps I take. If this happens, these are the steps I take. And it all comes down to you have to protect your business at all costs. You have people that rely on you, and the business needs to survive. But you also have to prioritize the company over all else, or you won't have anything to protect. The recession, we'll use it as an example, is going to cause a cash flow crisis or is going to hit your bottom line. And part of running a business or part of being in leadership is making hard calls and, you know, carrying that weight or developing that plan so at least your team knows there's a path forward. It's also why I always think it's funny when, you know, something like, you know, a crisis is coming, a large scale crisis. You know, you can have obviously crises, either way. You know what I'm saying? That are like very specific to your company, like, you know, an employee gets injured on the job. You know, if you're in defense, like something you're making or something, you know, God forbid blows up. But you're dealing with highly sensitive things. So like, should you absolutely have like a crisis plan for that? Yes. But what I'm talking about specifically today is something that will hit all of our businesses, you know, like that's going to impact all of us. Unless you live in, you know, I don't know who is like, you know, I used to think government was protected from recession or, you know, the defense industry and, you know, considered it recession proof. And well, I mean, technically recession proof, yes. Leadership, country, no. So my point was, I always think it's very interesting that the first thing companies choose to cut when, bad times are on their way or, they know their revenue is going to take a hit is the one thing that actually keeps them visible, their marketing. And I hear people, especially like within like highly technical industries, say, we don't do marketing. And I'm here to tell you, if you have a website, if you have a personal LinkedIn, if you go to trade shows, you go to networking, you have your logo on a t-shirt or a polo embroidered, you're doing marketing. You're just not doing it with a strategy. You have to stay visible and top of mind. As a phrase that I now absolutely hate to say because it's attributed to someone else, you got to double down, guys. You need to be investing in public relations, which is it lead generation? No. We'll get into that in another podcast because I will explain to you for the zillionth time what public relations actually is. What it is, therefore, is brand awareness. So you stay top of mind and relevant. Lean into writing about what is happening and how your company is either pivoting or how other people can pivot or the value in diversifying or whatever it is. Like, talk about your industry and your company and what your company is doing to, not survive, but what your company is doing to pivot. God, I hate using that word. And you can't disappear. You have to be visible. And I'm not talking about posting pictures of like your company picnic where people are being forced to sit there and eat something you grilled. I'm talking about actually sharing relevant things on your LinkedIn or other social media channels that provide value, whether it's these are the steps we're taking. This is what, we're doing with our customers. This is how we're best serving our clients. And then you need to also look at, okay, we're putting that out there. What are we doing to make sure that we're reaching people? I mean, if you're not doing or looking at digital marketing, which encompasses everything, like all things digital, like, it's quite frankly, it's video, Millie agrees, it's podcasts, it's, email marketing, it's your social media, it's ads. Are you running ads? And I'm not talking about that $500 quarter page ad you bought in the trade show program that you're attending. Your brand is your safety net and your company has to be visible. People don't hire companies they can't see, and they don't stick with the ones that go silent when times get tough. You don't need to be everywhere, but you do need to be visible, valuable, and very loud about what you do best. There is no sign that's going to tell you to act now, but actually there kind of are signs. Like, look around, people. Like, seriously, look around. Has anybody gone to, the news lately or just to your social media and seen all of the sky is falling? Because I have. So obviously if you're not going to just see things or observe, look at your data. Your team's going to be talking about it, and look at other companies. Look at your competitors. Are they doing anything? Because if they're not, this is an opportunity for you, because crisis does feed opportunity or does create opportunity. Planning for the worst, it isn't negativity. It's leadership. It's survival. It's building something that is going to outlast the chaos, the politicians, the algorithms, and the toxic clients. At the end of the day, running a business is hard, and we don't just get to sit around daydreaming or, planning for big things. That's why we all started this thing. Like we all had this dream and knew what we wanted to do, and we're going to make the world a better place. Well, now you have to fight to protect it.